Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
Well, we're still in the studio.
Yep.
Gavin's had to leave us so soon.
Yeah, unfortunately he has had to dash off.
But we're still in the studio, working hard.
Very hard.
Really hard. We're not at all in the pub opposite.
No.
Before we go for a Chinese meal. That's right out.
That's not happening.
I don't even suggest that.
No.
That's outrageous. We wouldn't do that on a Friday. But here comes the podcast. I think you'll enjoy it. This week, you got Gav digging out some great heroes this week, I felt, son.
Yes.
Really good heroes. We've got your fantastic pub names. Thank you very much for sending those in. We've got a great mum who rocks, giving us instructions on lubrication and handcuffs, which I thought was a bit before the watershed. It felt pre-watershed.
It's quite shocking.
It was quite shocking, wasn't it? Edgy.
Yes.
It was edgy radio. It's all together. You'll hear it anyway, because here's the podcast.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
It is Blame Bono Day all evening on Radio X. Blame Bono for all your problems on 83936 or at Radio X. 83936 or at Radio X. Blame Bono that my dog went out in the garden, found that someone had left our gate open. So she then chased a chap on his mobility scooter right through the village. That's from Tracy. Wow, Tracy. I don't know. I hate this. I know this sounds awful, but could you film it next time, love?
Yes.
It's just that if that'll go viral.
It will.
Which, I mean, I don't know if it's a very fast mobility scooter or a very slow dog. Yeah. But either way, I want to say a mobility scooter dog chase.
I could never outrun a dog,
unbelievable.
could it?
With a lot of those mobility scooters at the moment, the thing that's kind of getting me is that so many people are moving down the pavement and then just get up and out of them. Yeah. No, I'm not saying they haven't got the right to do it, but I'm just saying with ease.
Yeah, quite comfortably.
And I'm thinking, well, you're not allowed Segway things to stand on, but as long as you're sitting down, you've got a steering wheel. I mean, there's ones now that they've got they have for ages with the plastic surround.
Yes.
It's just a
like
car.
a
It's just like a mini Pope. It's just like a pave car.
You're just secretly jealous.
I am actually.
Yeah.
We wanted to go out in a squadron of them on Fridays to go out drinking, like 20 of us
on the pavement.
Because they sell some really sporty ones, and you just all go to a pub crawl round the pavement. Like, all right, there,
coming through.
Amazing.
Playing the Dam Busters, but also forming up in a V formation as well, and then moving through like the Red Arrows. She's doing a bit of a display in car parks. Okay. I blame Bono for text message abbreviations. Surely he started it. Slippery slope. Sean in Colchester. I think you can almost blame Bono for that. You too.
Of course.
You've got to.
Yeah.
You didn't connect then, did you?
No,
quite?
I didn't.
I could see you weren't giving me the smile it deserved. Well, I say me. You weren't giving Sean from Colchester the smile it deserved.
I was a bit slow picking up on what Sean was dropping.
Yeah, you weren't picking up what he was laying down.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I blame Bono for the roadkill badger on the A39 with the get well soon balloon tied to his front paw.
Oh, no.
Bob in Timsbury near Bath, you are sick.
Bono, that is cold.
Bono, that is cold. Bob, you are sick, but you sound like you're right in our demographic with humour like that. Johnny, there's been a blue bottle buzzing around my house all day. I blame Bono for The Fly. That's Del. Very good, Del.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
Okay, you can stop it. So I've got Gavin Sunter laughing at me because of two things. One, my glasses, which are cheap, and I keep them here, and they've got super magnification, and they make me like a minion, apparently. But also, because I'm really hot all the time, my glasses steam up, particularly when I'm reading on the loo. I'm not reading on the loo now, obviously. That'd be an odd place for the show to come from. But Sunter smokes on the toilet, that's true. You've been busted. She always smokes on the cosy. Smokes on the cosy.
Radio
X.
Was I telling you lot last week about a friend of mine we overheard on the loo?
Whistling. Yeah, you were. You did.
Did I say it on air?
I don't think so.
I can a little bit, so I can't think about it. There's a friend of mine, we all laughed our heads off because he was first in the loo. We heard him in the loo. We're all waiting. We're like, come on, yeah? And we could hear him in the loo whistling. And while he's whistling, we heard him going, can I do this? I can probably do this. We heard him go, it still makes all the lads laugh. We heard him whistling on the loo. He's reading a paper. And he was going, I can't do it now because I'm laughing. You mustn't make me laugh.
You can't whistle while you're laughing.
You can't whistle while you laugh. You can't. Okay, wait a second. He's going... and it made us really laugh outside. And every time we see him, we always go. All right, here we go. It doesn't stop giving, believe me. It's given me so much laughter over the years. If ever you're down, just do that to yourself, and I guarantee you're cheered up instantly. It's the only thing I know guaranteed to cure depression.
This is a man who also smokes on the toilet, which
and whistles.
Always makes me
he
laugh.
Smokes and whistles. He smokes, whistles, and chews gum. Anyway, I read most papers most days as part of my research for the show, and mostly what scientists are up to is never going to happen. If it's exciting, it's going to happen any day now. Scientists have got a breakthrough cure for whatever.
Yeah.
Baldness will be a thing of the past. It never is.
Yeah.
These things never bleed through. But I've finally read something that scientists have developed somewhere that I'd really like to try.
That definitely works.
Well, yeah, it definitely works, but I'd just really like to try it.
Okay.
What they developed is in Ireland, scientists in Ireland have developed helmets. They developed these helmets with like periscope pipes. It looks like normal piping you get around the house.
Yeah.
Like, the bends on it with like a bend on it. But it replicates the vision of animals. So it's a helmet you put on your head and it enables you to see now like a giraffe.
Like a periscope.
Yes, it
Right.
works on periscope principles. They've got another one that'll give you exactly the vision of a hammerhead shark.
It gives you the point of view of a hammerhead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you know what I want to know is, why is it with hammerheads they stop with sharks? I'd love like a hammerhead Jack Russell.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hammerhead eagle.
A hammer-headed eagle. Why is it just with sharks? Why stop there? Why stop there? A hammer-headed cat. I like your hammer. I was just admiring your hammer-headed cat. Really wide, weird eyes and a weird cat flap. Just got to get it just right.
Like a letterbox.
So yeah, a hammer-headed squirrel. Scuttling in the trees, getting his eyes all. Oh no, there's got to be some. I'm just saying, why does that one thing just occur with that one thing there?
It's weird, isn't it? It must be something to do with swimming.
It must be something. I don't know what it's to do with. But you've also got, intriguingly, tantalisingly, you get a chameleon. I didn't know chameleons can look forward and backwards at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
they've got one of those as well, so you can see what that's like to look forward and backwards at the same time.
so weird.
That's great. I mean, the trouble is you start winking like that when you sort of change.
Yeah, also, they can't aim if that's the case. You can only aim if your eyes are on the front of your face.
Yeah. Tennis players, I notice, incidentally, you notice this, like inside. Are you quite good at tennis? I bet you're quite, because their eyes are unusually close together.
Yes, Djokovic.
Yes.
Yes.
All tennis players.
Yes. I wonder if marksmen and archers have
I
all
don't
got
know,
the
but
same-
I'm looking for like a cyclops to win it.
Yes.
Bring it home.
Or a minion.
Yeah, yeah. Easy, Gav. Easy, Gav. You just
Sorry.
don't look at me with my glasses on and just do that. It's cruel.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
Sunta, there was a really good piece you had in a news thing I heard earlier. It was about something like subliminal messaging. What was that about?
Oh, yeah. So subliminal messages being the stimuli that lie below our threshold of conscious awareness.
You need to download the podcast. You want to download the podcast.
Subliminal message, even if
You
we're looking
need
for
to
it.
download our podcast.
Many people
You
confuse
feel the urge to go to iTunes.
conscious.
You feel the urge to go
Those
to our
two are
website.
actually very different.
Download the
Stimulus can
podcast.
influence
The
us
Johnny Vaughan
without being
podcast.
subliminal.
I want to
We can
download
signal
the
it, even if we don't
podcast.
consciously
I want
notice
to
it.
tell my
It's not
friends about it.
considered
I want to
subliminal.
tell my family.
In-store music
I
as
want
an
to
example.
text all with information.
In a store, they found a startling result. In days when German music was played, German wine outsold French wine.
Wow, Sunta, that's
That's
amazing.
really fascinating.
That's fascinating. Thank you very much indeed, Sunta. Oh, our podcast's out.
Yes.
You might want to download that.
X. Radio X.
Okay, it's time for your pet towns. We've got a pet town generator. So would you lay off the bongos, Si? You know I can't resist bongo enthusiasm. It's two things I can't resist. Bongos, a Hammond organ.
And
You put
dancing
two
to the
together.
Crime Watch theme as well.
Yeah, I can't resist the crime watch. No one can.
It's such a groove.
It is a great groove. I was once, years ago, at a wedding. And the lads don't really, a lot of my mates just don't bother dancing except at weddings, ironically. And this wedding band came on, and do you know what they did? They played a medley of sporting themes. And suddenly the dance floor was just
All the women
heaving.
left.
Just
All the
heaving.
men were up.
The lads really getting down to like ski Sunday theme, just like really love it, going bum 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 bum. Really love it. They look so happy. I've never seen a mate of mine nearly crying to Sports Night.
Wow.
And they finished with Match Today. It's a good band. Honestly, the lads were going mad. I was thinking, this is how you keep them happy, isn't it? It's what they really like. It's one of the saddest things I've ever seen. It's like 1 a.m. These blokes who've normally just been staring into space are about to be chaperoned home by the women. Suddenly, oh, you got to dance to this! Because they couldn't speak by that time. Okay, here we go. We've got the randomizer ready.
Yeah, let's find
This
a town.
is to find, from your nominations, Pet Town of the Week. Big deal for that town, for the tourist industry. We ready? Start the randomizer.
Farnham,
Middlesbrough, Swindon, Radford,
Dover,
Didcot,
Cheadle,
Danbury, Townsend,
Didcot,
Gateshead, Newport,
Ashburn,
Didcot, Hungerford,
Castleford,
Wadhurst,
Dorking,
Laban, Aldridge,
Didcot,
Didcot, Ribble,
Keswick,
Farnham,
Kendal,
Ramsgate.
Chatham, Clevedon, Didcot, Wigan.
You're right.
Wigan it is.
We're going to Wigan.
We're going to go to Wigan. And that's from Terry in Wigan. We're going to go and see the Woolybacks.
Excellent.
Do you know why they're called Woolybacks in Wigan?
Why?
I don't know, I think it's to do with the fact they used to carry cotton on wool on their backs to load up onto the Manchester Ship Canal or out the thing. So all their backs were always covered in fluff.
Oh.
So they got called Woolybacks up there.
There you go.
Which I think is a really nice name. I think
is,
it's a
yeah.
cartoon character that's dying to be born.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
Gav and I don't want to sound all cliquey sometimes, but we've got a new craze. It's the funniest show on television.
It is.
I watched it last night.
Just after the football.
Just after the football. Aussie Australian Grand Designs.
Right.
Because on Australian Grand Designs, they're basically not really that grand or particularly designed.
No.
Every week, essentially, they just assemble everything off-site. And then they just, in some bloody great aircraft hangar, and then
In a
they
bit of-
just
in a bit
build
of
it.
wasteland
They
somewhere.
just build it. And that's it. Essentially, they stand there, it looks like mud for a bit, and then suddenly, in about an afternoon, the whole house is just done.
He said at the beginning, he goes, even though it's a very rural setting,
Yes,
this will still be a sharply built, sophisticated home.
Yeah, but he said the advantage of modular. And what was his 2 criteria? Those brilliant things. It's like got possibilities but not peculiarities. It was just blinding.
High-end finishes,
Yeah.
but without compromising any detail.
The funny thing is he's sounding really sophisticated with that sort of slightly almost Kiwi Australian accent. But then occasionally he goes, "Hey, mate, you're going to get your wine in there."
That's right.
There's 2 bits I couldn't understand what he said. He suddenly can't help but snap into black. It was just done. But anyway, the best bit was the old dear who's doing up this house. She's gone, and we tried to get it all, environmentally sustainable. We built it. And he goes, when you say you built it environmentally, what do you mean? And she's gone, stuffed if I know. She just gave up.
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
We have our pet town correspondent. You'll notice weirdly when I do this, I always put a finger by my ear as though being in a television studio. I don't know why. Hopefully we've got Bess on the line right now in Wigan. Bess, you there?
Hi.
Hi Bess, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Let's talk about Wigan. You love Wigan, right?
Yeah, it's all right.
Great, okay. It's funny because on my piece of paper it says she is really enthusiastic.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, well, we'll do that then. I'll say, go visit Wigan. It's all right. Okay, here we go. I've been looking on TripAdvisor. It says number 4 of the 33 things to do in Wigan. It's got Europe's largest indoor roller rink.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you work there?
Yeah. I'm the general manager.
Okay. And how much can I rent skates for? Roller skates?
£2.
£2. Tell you what, it's so reasonable. I think
It
down
really
here.
is.
So
The more I hear it, you can see why that old tight was like Peter Kay live up there. Okay, you ready
It's
for
one
this?
of the cheapest places to go out, yeah. And we've got a bar, which makes it even better.
Nice, nice. It's a lovely mixture, isn't it? Alcohol and roller skates.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing could go wrong.
No, well, what could
Feel like
possibly go
flying.
wrong? And people going round and round and round and round really fast. Okay, here we go. Where do I go if I want to go bananas in Wigan?
Probably Jumping Jacks or Mortimer's in Wigan Town Centre, but mostly you go to Manchester if you want to go out.
Hang on a second, let me get this straight. Let me
Classy,
get this
classier
wait a
than
second.
Wigan.
Wait a second. I've just asked you If I want to go bananas in Wigan, where do I go? Answer, Manchester. What an advert you are. What a poster girl. How the local tourist board must be rejoicing that I've spoken to Bess Holding, who thoroughly recommends, if you want a good night out in Wigan, get yourself to Manchester. Listen, loads of love. You have a great weekend. Thank you so much for talking to me. Bye, Bess.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
Just reading in the papers. It's all over everywhere and all over the internet, everything, you name it, that David Beckham is set to buy a country pile near a local pub called the, by that I mean a country house, not a hemorrhoid. And it's called the Golden Ball Inn.
Right. Was it already called that before
It was
he was
already,
going to own
yes,
it?
that's what I checked
Just
out.
a coincidence.
But check this, yeah? No, you think that's flash?
Clever marketing by the current owner.
Guess what the Woodman's local pub's called?
the Woodman.
Exactly right. It's called, he drinks at the Woodman. He is the Woodman's Woodman.
Wow.
Anyway, I was just wondering why pub names, you know, when they move on, it's in a really sort of kind of asinine, sort of bland way. Like, you know, the sort of slug and lettuce. They try and be funny and not topical. And yet you see, obviously, old pubs were very topical. Anyway, it led me to think that perhaps we should move it on a bit and have pubs that are a bit topical. I mean, I suggested to someone in the office, their instant suggestion back was to call the pub the Ant and Deck.
Yeah, it's good.
Not a bad pub name. I'm personally, I think the like button. Right there. Just as a talk, just on the pub sign, it actually looks, it just says like.
Yeah.
Or even the panic button.
Yeah.
Just a panic on a pub sign. It looks like that. I've got the thieving hoodie. Do you think that's good?
Instead of the blind beggar.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thieving hoodie. And you just see the back of a hood
Yeah.
and just something being grabbed. I've got, or you could have the coffee and Kindle.
Yes.
Just a bit more topical.
Yeah, in a nice Cotswolds
Yes,
village.
in a really nice, exactly right. The Beard and Bike.
Yeah. That's in Hoxton.
That's in Hoxton, the Beard.
Yeah.
No, just in a country village. Just out there, the Beard and Bike, love.
Yeah.
It's just there really nice. It's just a bearded man on a penny farthing. It's just
Coffee and Kindle.
Okay, so it's just chew on it. What would you like your local pub to be called? Would you just any suggestions in 83936 or at Radio X? The Bearded Boar. No, as in BOAR. You know, and you have the Bearded Boar. That was quite nice. The Beard and Twitter. I got loads of them. I've really been working on this. We're looking at your modern pub names, and they're really, really good. The Tipple and Tinder from Simon in Gosport. Thank you very much. The Geek and Glasses, which is great, from Matt in Huddersfield. But then Matt in Huddersfield has followed that up
I like his second one.
with an absolute beauty. The Blatter's Fleece.
Oh,
Hey, oh, very good.
That name would last about 200 years at least.
Gav and I are sort of obsessed with the fact that Sepp is short for Josep.
Yeah, it's the second half of his name.
It's the second half of his name. We're sort of thinking, what an amazing thing if you just pick the second half of your name. And as soon as I said it to Gav, we're saying, what if worldwide baddies all did it? And Gav goes, yeah, you'd have
Bert Mugabe.
Bert Mugabe. And suddenly it sort of lifts it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Del Castro. You know what I mean? Suddenly it's just a different kind of guy.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
Sorry, just still collating this top 10. I can tell you now, it's going to be a top 10. Here's the deal. Modern pub names, we've been inundated with these. And normally when you hear that on radio, I can tell you now they're lying.
Yeah,
we have been literally inundated with letters. They're just lying. I mean, like two people have written in and one of them is the producer. Hurriedly. Okay, here we go. Are we ready? First of all, Andrew and Ruislip. These are honourable mentions. He just wants a pub called The Thong.
Yeah, I like
which
that.
I think is brilliant. Have you seen The Thong? Have you been up there since they've done it up? Have you been inside The Thong?
Well, they fixed up the thong.
Yeah, they fixed The Thong up. Have you been in?
Have they painted it?
They've painted The Thong. Yeah, they've done the whole place up. You not been in The Thong? Nip down
not
there. The Orcs Inn.
I like
Very
that.
good.
Yeah.
The Phone's Charge Inn.
Yeah.
Oi!
Hey.
The Endless Buffer Inn. Oi! The Dog Inn handbag.
That's one
the
of my
Copy and Paste. The FIFA and Fiddle. The hashtag. The Tipple and Tinder. The Control Alt Delete. The Twerk In. But none of these got into the top 10.
No.
Okay, here is the top 10. At number 10, The Blind Blogger. That's Richard Camden. You beauty.
That's brilliant.
At number 9, It's Jim in Wandsworth. The Spotify dog. Good work. At number 8, the social trend in. That's Sir Ollie Woodrow. That's Sir Ollie Woodrow of Cliff's End.
Ollie.
That's very good. At number 7, the Blatter's Fleece.
I love that
That's
one.
great, Matt in Huddersfield. You the man. At number 6, the box set Bloke and Bird. That's Christopher in Holloway. It's getting tight now inside the 5. At number 5, the Vladimir Put In. Hey, Daddy in Chesterfield. At number 4, the Login. Hey, that's Super Freed Lee. At number 3, the LinkedIn. Oh!
Inns are working well.
Inns are working well. I see what you all got onto. That's Alan in Walpole. At number 2, the What's Happened in. Oh! But at number 1, I can do this because it all made us laugh, and we've got to. It's a work of genius. The Merry MILF. Apologies if it's a bit puerile, but I tell you what, if Sun's laughing, it must be good.
There was no name with that one, but thanks
There's no
whoever
name,
sent
but
it.
thank you so much. The Merry MILF is your winning pub name.
And can you imagine the picture?
Yeah.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
Okay, you might remember on Friday's show, I was bemoaning the fact that my parents, I asked for, I thought I was going to get a really decent bike, a chopper, which I really wanted a chopper.
Yeah.
But I got a Rally Commando in what we're calling the old tartan jumper. We call this a tartan jumper. If you're expecting this gift, you get that. It's after David Cameron actually got, expecting sexy lingerie, got a tartan jumper. I was expecting a chopper, got a Commando.
I looked up the Commando. It's a travesty of a bicycle.
It's like a shopping bike they've sported up. I'm still suffering.
Yeah.
Luckily, so's Colin. He's called in to share my grief. Colin, are you there, matey?
I'm here, Johnny. I'm
All right, brother.
you've brought it all back. It's just, it's difficult.
It is, isn't it? How did you cope on the day? Can you remember the day?
I can't forget the day. Remember the day?
Yeah.
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Elder brother. He's excited about Christmas, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm excited about Christmas.
Yeah, I was.
To be honest, we had a bit of an inkling. We went downstairs. There's a couple of items wrapped up. Clearly bikes. Let's be honest. They're not difficult to
They're
disguise.
not, are they?
No. And sorry.
It's bringing it back for me. Don't.
It is.
Just take it
Well,
steady. What did your brother
well,
get?
Well, he dives straight in. He gets the grifter, doesn't he?
Quite a heavy bike. They're still quite disappointing for BMX people. But what did you get?
Yeah, heavy, but I got a Commando, Johnny.
Same as me. Oh my God. Okay. The Commando. It was it was so painful because I'd billed it to everyone that I was going to have this Commando. How did you get round that first day when you took it for that first spin and everyone knew you had a Commando? Can you remember that, Shane?
I remember it. I kept it indoors for about a week, Johnny.
I didn't go out on Christmas Day either.
No, under the pretense that I wasn't allowed to ride it indoors once it got dirty, so it stayed indoors as long as I could keep it
I know.
indoors before I got booted
You
outside.
too, huh? Did you find that the 3-speed gear change, which went from yellow to blue to red in a weird system on a twist grip, did your grip become unstuck as well? So it just became impossible to change into any of them.
It was always blue.
It was just always blue. It was, yeah, because that was the last one, and then you couldn't turn it back. It just went go. You could keep going round and round with that grip as long as you like. You couldn't change the gear.
Not a prayer.
Could
Do
you?
know what,
How old were you when you got it? Because I couldn't actually lift it.
No. It took 3 of my mates to push me up a curb.
Yes,
I
it was
think I
heavy.
About 8.
Yeah.
About 7 or 8, I reckon, when I got it.
Right, listen, Colin, memories of the Commando.
Yeah.
We'll be doing this every week in this slot. Any other Commando owners?
Brilliant.
83936, the Rally Commando, owners of Britain. Just a chance, really, just to share your pain right here on X. Cheers, Colin.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
Gav is going to draw, the Woodman is going to draw our attention to today's hero. Yes, someone who was the best around.
In your area, I believe.
Actually, he used to live next door to me. Go on.
Right, today's hero is Christopher Lee, the actor. but not for his acting.
Is it something people don't know about him?
I think people might know a bit about it, but when I read what he'd done, I couldn't believe how much of it there was, which is why I picked him. But the main thing is, in 1939, he quit his job, caught a boat to Finland, and enlisted in the Finnish army.
So you can have a crack at the Hun?
No, the Ruski.
Oh, the Rusk! Yeah. He wanted a crack at the Rusk?
Yeah. Wow. He fought with the Finnish army against the Russians.
Yeah, of course they invaded back then.
Then he enlisted in the Air Force in 1940, where he worked as an intelligence officer, before he joined the Long Range Desert Patrol, which was the SAS. Unbelievable. He was decorated by the Czechs, the Yugoslavs, the English, and the Polish.
Yeah.
4 different nations decorated
what a
him.
man.
He never spoke about what he actually did.
No.
Because they were all secret operations.
Yeah, he didn't.
And whenever anyone asked him, he said, "Can you keep a secret?" And when they said yes, he said, "So can I."
He did.
Legend.
He did.
What's weird is daughter. I used to see him a lot because his daughter lived in his flat next door to my house. I didn't know his daughter lived next door to me. Yeah, and one Christmas, I was just taking my first bulldog Harvey out for a walk. It was about midnight. We'd finished Christmas and everything. I had a few drinks, and next door, where she lives, there's a tree, and then there's a little house where the bins go. You know, those little bin houses.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize behind there, the earth really rises up. And I'd heard a noise there, but I didn't know there was someone behind there. And it's really weird. And I'm not exaggerating. I do generally exaggerate. It's safe to say. But I'm not on this occasion. There was like a ground mist. Yeah. And what Gav didn't say, he was enormously tall. He was about
6'5".
He's 6'5". So he's the height of Jamie Theakston.
Wow,
Can you imagine?
That is very tall.
Yeah. So I'm just taking Harvey for a walk. And I just come out and I hear this noise behind the bins, yeah? And he's on a raised bit behind there where the tree goes, yeah?
On a misty London night.
No, it's midnight, and there is a full moon.
Oh my
And I'm thinking, and suddenly, Christopher Lee himself appears from behind these bins. I'm thinking, Jesus, no! And he just goes, Merry Christmas. And I was like, okay, yeah. I nearly formed my fingers into a cross. Go back, ye. The thing was, he was wearing one of those deerstalker coats with the shoulder things in tweed.
That sounds like an exaggeration.
No, it's not, because that's what he wore. He was really old school. Amazing man. God rest him.
Radio X. Radio X.
Gav or Sunter. Gav, stroke Sunter. That's not an instruction. It was a figure of speech. That's weird. Okay, no. Is there a thing on Twitter where it'll give me, like, it's got, like, something so it'll know that it tells me to recite the alphabet backwards or touch my nose with my finger.
Oh, so you don't drunk
like an
tweet.
American drunk test at the start, or what is the sum of these numbers? Like a bit of mental arithmetic. Otherwise, it locks me out.
That is something that would be very useful.
No, but does Twitter not have that on it?
Not automatically.
What
no.
we call safeguards.
Yes.
For people who get Larry.
Something
not?
is going to kind of pull you up and go,
Yes.
hang
So
on
it
a
will
minute.
literally lock me out.
Do you really want to post that tweet?
Yes, it's not like forgetting your password. Well, that's good enough for me.
All you got to do is every time you try and tweet something, read it back to yourself and imagine everyone reading it.
Is there not an app that literally loops it so that it just defers everything?
I think there is, yeah.
So it'll just delay all output and put it in a holding place. And
Until you're in a more
and then
sober mindset.
Do you really want to send this? It just gives like, it's like the cooling tower. It's called the cooling tower.
That's a great idea.
And it's called the cooling tower, and it's an app, and every text, everything I do, it just places it in the cooling tower. Or the cooler king. The cooler king, like Steve McQueen in Thingy. I'm thinking out loud.
It's like a purgatory for
Jamming, aren't
tweets.
you?
Yes. It's like a purgatory for tweets, but it's the cooler, and it's called the Cooler King. And I say, no, and it just cooled down, and then suddenly half an hour goes, do you really want to send this to them? Because they go,
Well, you've been on Twitter for about, 1 hour?
yes.
And you've got 171 followers. That won't last long. At
What, you mean they'll go?
At Johnny Vaughan.
Shush, Gav. You don't have to give it out. That's policy.
X. Radio X.
Good luck to Si, our producer, who's left early.
Yeah.
Listening to this now in the lift. Hi, Si.
Si has just left the building.
We've got little Si in charge now. I've got to say already he's drunk with power.
He is.
I've received more orders during that last tune than I have the month I've been here.
And he's grown a beard in the last 30 seconds.
Classic. Barking orders. At one point, just before we started this link, Johnny said, he prodded me in the back with a broom and went, dance monkey boy.
He's like a cruel army officer, isn't
No,
he?
he's not. He's like what's he called? The Stromboli, the horrid puppeteer in Pinocchio.
That's right.
That's how I feel now. I feel just like that. Dance
Here's my
monkey
chance.
boy. Yeah, it really is. You're really like that. Hideous.
High on power.
You're really drunk with power. Okay, that's the link done, really. What I was going to say is there's an article in the paper today. It says, no, in fact, let's do this. Who do you know? This is your homework for tomorrow. Because Cy has got temporary power and he's become drunk with it, please, let's name and shame those other people who've just been given power for a little bit.
Well, interim governments,
Yes.
interim managers of football teams.
No, not them, Gav. People in your workplaces.
Oh, okay.
That have just been literally promoted and they really quickly changed and became drunk with power.
Yeah, like supply teachers.
Like
yeah,
Cy.
Yeah.
And they literally, you couldn't believe how they were just really friendly down the pub. Suddenly it's like different name, or they changed appearance, came to work the next day, beard. Or they shaved the beard off but changed appearance, just like the boss told them to.
Yeah.
83936 or at Radio X. Or you can email us always at Vernon at RadioX.
Let Vernon know.
It's called Let Vernon Know.
Who's drunk with power?
Vernon at radiox.com. But we'd like to know people like Little Cy who've become very quickly drunk with power.
Johnny Vaughan.
Radio
X.
Radio X.
Do you know people who are drunk on power? Little Cy, it's really nice to have you back. But yesterday we got a really horrid glimpse. We really did.
Of the future of your career,
really
yeah.
His eyes were like hollows of madness.
It's like,
no! Good work, Si. Anyway, Brian in Cheadle, he said his friend was made area manager of the delivery company we worked for. He started wearing a shirt and tie, even though the position didn't call for it. He made his own business cards when he didn't even need them. And even suggested we call him Mr. Forbes instead of just Darren. Thank you very much indeed, Brian, for that. It's a beauty. Gav?
this is from Hugh in Slough. My neighbour has gone power mad with his position of street email administrator, going as far as correcting people's grammar and telling us not to use it as our own personal soapbox.
Suns, what do you got?
I think I might be guilty of this. Sandra in Alton says, I used to let the power go to my head when I used to babysit my younger brothers, making them get me food and drink,
That's
magazines
great,
and rub my feet.
But she's meant to be babysitting and she gets a few quid from the parents, and actually they're just her servants for the night. It's genius. My dad stood in as a ref at a football match I was playing in, 89 minutes in, and there were no incidents. Then, out of nowhere, he sent 3 players off for dissent. Power drunk, says Mark in Liverpool. Thank you, Marky. Nicola in Barking says, my boss was ill last week, so I had to cover for him. By the second day, I was telling people, I'm in charge here. And she even came out with the line she confesses, look, we can either do it my way or the hard way. I work in Smith's.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
Have you ever split up with a box set, with a series? Just suddenly, it's just the relationship ended.
What, halfway through?
It's just happened with me and Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, no.
I was really into it. I got to like series 5 and suddenly I was like, we can't go on. I can't go on seeing you. We're talking about your relationships with box sets. Little Cy, that is good production.
Yes.
What you've done there is the right tune at the right time. It sets up this pastiche superbly. Oh, Little Cy, only on Radio X. Sunta, I understand you have something to talk to me about. That was a very good eye, incidentally. That was how you going. I
am kind of confused by my box set relationships right now because I have started Freak Show Season 4, which is the Freak Show, American Horror Story Freak Show.
But it's going well. 1 and 3 you like.
Yeah. However, I've also started Season 5, American Horror Story Hotel, at the same time.
You're seeing 2 box sets. And they're sort of in the same family,
yeah,
right?
so
It's like seeing cousins.
I'm kind of seeing cousins.
Yeah.
And there's a crossover.
Cousins shouldn't marry.
of actors.
Hey, Johnny, I loved the first 2 seasons of Dexter's. I watched every episode of every series. But the magic just evaporated. It was still good, but never the same as at the start of that relationship. I've got to tell you, I went through exactly the same thing with Blacklist. And I watched series 1 of Blacklist, and I just loved it. But but I became really addicted and very compulsive with it. And sometimes, it's a blessing when Series 2 comes around and it's not as good, because you can walk away. 83936 or tweet at Radio X. Just to say, Johnny, I'm currently in a relationship with 5 different box sets.
He's just showing off.
You, sir, are a slut.
That was Lucas. I've got one here.
Go on.
Hi, Johnny. I had a relationship problem with Prison Break. In the beginning, we couldn't get enough of each other. It was passionate for the first 2 series.
Yeah.
Then the relationship began to turn sour.
You're going to get that.
I kept holding on, but the stories became less and less believable. I was in denial. I held on until the bitter end. 9 series I held on. As the final credits rolled, I felt relief, but also anger and bitterness that I had wasted so much time on the relationship. I'm traumatized to this day. The thought of a spin-off fills me with dread.
I bet it.
As I know I'll come crawling back.
I feel your pain, brother.
That's Chris in Basingstoke.
I feel your pain. Sunta, what have you got? What has someone decided to share with you?
Well,
and do share out there.
Tom in Chelmsford says, with box sets, I always get gripped for up to around Series 3 and then lose interest and move on to the next one. Then I just keep repeating the process over and over.
That's a common tale.
Fear of commitment,
absolutely
that, Tom.
Right, absolutely right. I've just got time just for one more quickie, I think. Johnny, I have to admit I've had an affair with Breaking Bad. First, it was the odd rendezvous on a bus without my wife knowing. But then, quickly, it moved on to full episodes on train journeys.
Oh.
Before I knew where I was, I'd done all 5 series and couldn't bring myself to tell the wife. To make things worse, she bought the box set last week and wants to start it tonight.
Ooh.
I can't keep living a lie and don't know what to tell her. And that's Paul from Bromley. Sunta, put yourself in his wife's position. I'm putting myself in his position. We're all trying to work through this. What should he do?
I think he has to pretend he's never seen it.
He needs to be strong.
He needs to look at the bigger picture.
You're right.
And do this for his wife and for his relationship.
That's what he's got to do.
Yep.
And don't give yourself away by just making very good predictions. Don't start going, I bet that blows up. I bet it does. I bet he's the guy.
Radio X. Radio X.
Hi Johnny, my name's Steph and I'm calling about my mum who rocks. Her name is Pam and here are just a couple reasons why. She moved to London from a small town in California by herself when she was just 17 years old to go to art college, which if you ask me I think is pretty rock and roll. Also when I was a teenager, I'd try my best in that typical teenage way to wear anything I could to shock them, but she just wasn't fazed at all and would just say, teenagers these days dress so conservatively. In my day, I was influenced by the punk records my older brothers would play me, so I used to walk around wearing bin bags kept together by safety pins. She still goes to loads of gigs now, and she's always texting me about her favourite new bands, some of which I've never even heard of myself. And she absolutely loves music, and that's the reason why it's always been such a big part of my life too. So I definitely say I've got a mum that rocks.
How about that?
It sounds like it.
What was weird there is I've never left an answer machine message as slick as that. I'm like, hi, Johnny. Wasn't expecting that. I mean, how good's she, right?
Yeah.
That's scary. Anyway, we've called her mum, Pam, back. Pam, are you there?
Hello, Mr. Vaughan.
Hello, Pam. Good voice. Pam. Tell you now,
I'm loving your show.
Pam, I've just been reading about it. We love you. So you still, your daughter says you rock.
That's right. I'm so chuffed. I've only ever won one award in my life, and this tops that.
What was the other award? Make it good.
A Sony Radio Award.
Oh, you worked in radio. You're a professional. Oh, God.
I'm a psychologist.
You're a
and
psychologist.
I know the power of music. And the band, I mean, in the last year and a half, I've seen, Queens of the Stone Age, Foo Fighters. Dave was epic in his, his specially built sort of post-leg break throne.
Nice.
It was a bit Spinal Tap, but amazing.
Very Spinal Tap.
And may I just say, before we begin into Mums That Rock, would love to have you on my couch anytime, Johnny, to talk about your need for box set therapy.
Okay.
I heard you yesterday.
Well, also
back to Mums That Rock.
Box set therapy. So you listen to the show as well, which means you obviously rock.
I am a fan.
Against the Homer block. And who would you say over your course as a rocking mum has rocked the most? Who's really rocked your world when you've been to see them? I wasn't talking about your lovers, obviously.
Oh my God! There's so many amazing bands I've seen. I mean, recently, like Royal Blood, I've seen twice.
I've seen them on Tuesday. I think they're excellent.
They absolutely rock. I saw Arctic Monkeys this year. Blur. I mean, Ryan Adams.
If you had to go back to one gig in your life, and you say that's the one I want to go back to, they're going to play at your fest. Who would it be?
Oh God, it would have to be when I snuck in, I guess, to see the Pistols.
You waited that long to tell us you saw the Pistols.
When I was 15, I'd been here, earlier before I actually moved here with my parents. And I snuck in and saw the Pistols, and they spat on my boyfriend.
They always. I remember I went to see the Stranglers back then when I was a kid, and I had to throw my mohair jumper in a bin on the way home because it was just so covered in.
It was a mark of affection, wasn't it?
It was. Of
course it was.
Love. That's what I thought as I stuffed the mohair jumper in the bin. It was so covered in spit. It's because they really liked me.
Oh yeah. Well, who wouldn't? I mean, I'd spit on you if I saw you.
It's a nice.
So sweet.
Ever said you're a sweet
no,
woman.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I was at Latitude this summer doing a sex and love chat, and I had my handcuff and lubricant challenge.
Did you?
Johnny's sitting up straight now.
The challenge is you put the handcuffs on me, and then your hands are covered in lubricant, and the crowd counts to see how quickly you can unlock the handcuffs on me.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were giving me an escape from the police strategy. I thought was going to be something. I thought, wow. You've seen the Sex Pistols. You do handcuff and lubricant talks at festivals. I think that do you think maybe we've raised the bar a bit too high?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this.
Yes.
You rock, Mum.
Oh, thank you. You rock too.
All right, listen, take care. Thank you so much for calling us. How about that, guys? We've had a mum who rocks.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
Okay, I was looking at the papers today, and it occurs to me that the happiest I've seen the Chinese leader, Xi Jinping, is in the pub.
With David Cameron.
He looks so comfy with a pint.
After all the formal events, he's relaxed.
But you know what he's doing? If you look on the front page of the Times, he's actually staring into the glass like, oh, you beauty.
Like he's been there his whole life, yeah.
I'm not really listening, Dave. I'm actually just watching the lager.
The first gulp, the first Friday gulp.
But the thing is, this is the setting for the G8, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see them there. There's a picture of David Cameron and Xi Jinping just sitting at the bar, and he's just looking in his eyes like, why didn't we do this before, Dave? They've even stayed on to have fish and chips. They were going to go to Checkers for dinner, and the Chinese Premier says, no, let's have some fish and chips.
Yeah, they'd had a couple of pints by then.
Yeah, blow that. You blow the rest of pints now. I'd like to see the Chinese Prime Minister get on the fruit machine and David Cameron giving tips on nudges, not on an English machine, Dave. Seriously, G, don't do it. Because I can see, because the reels are heavy.
It's just paid out. It's just paid out.
Yeah. Imagine that. But I bet they, you know, that in this pub, you know those pubs you get where you hear that, like, Keith Richards drinks or Mick Jagger?
Yeah.
And locals are at pains to always go, it's no big deal around here. Well, he comes in, you know.
We don't bother him.
We don't really bother. But to do that with the Chinese Prime Minister, he's just going in the fruit machine. Without even turning around, someone goes, yeah, it's just paid out, mate. I don't care who it is. It's paid out anyway.
So you think the UN or all...
stick your money in there, you muppet.
all summits should be held in pubs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly right. The UN, G8, I can see that as a good 8 round a table in the snug.
Or the Security Council of the UN.
Another couple of pints and then we'll go through the defence strategy, I think. Yeah. I tell you what, fish and chips, sambucas, then we'll do nuclear stuff. No, I'm just saying, if I can sort out the problems of the world with one mate after a couple of pints, if the G8 have 8 pints, it's the G8 night. Way! They just look so comfy.
And the next morning, what did I resolve?
Oh my God. Who have I disarmed? Oh God, I said I'd send aid to who? You're nuts!
X. This is Radio X.
That was a podcast. We're back on Monday. Make sure you download this. Oh, you already have done.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.